So, what is like? There's a million different factors that contribute to like that, like whether or not he will stick around and whether or not he can provide and take care of her and protect her, right? There's all these different factors. She doesn't have like, for her to determine all of those things about a guy would take quite a lot of time. However, it's much faster to figure out all those things if every other woman agrees.
Yeah.
He's
that
he's
attractive.
that guy. Yeah.
If
yeah,
every other
facts.
woman is already trying to jump in his pants, okay, then he must have all these.
I like
yeah,
it.
so true.
attributes.
What a way to explain it.
So
That's such a good way of
it
explaining it.
fast tracks that decision making
Yeah,
process,
yeah.
and this is all subconscious. This is instinctual. This is not like she's not logically thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, like all these other women in the club want to suck his dick. I'll suck his dick. Like they're not. She's not thinking that, but it's just an innate feeling that comes through. Yeah. That's how
Natural
social
instinct.
proof works.
Yeah, mate, that's great way of breaking it down.
So is that why you feel as though even though a guy might have a reputation for bedding loads of women, that he's still able to attract all the good women? Because
Doesn't turn them off.
Yeah, it doesn't turn them off. Why? Because of that, I suppose.
I get this a lot. Like I get so many like, and I'm not trying to hate on Christians, but it's always Christians on Twitter or on YouTube comments who will say things to me like, "You'll never like get a good woman because you were a degenerate, whatever."
We hear this all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
Okay, you hear the same thing. All my buddies hear the same thing.
Yeah.
Hang around with all the degenerates apparently.
Apparently, it's the way forward.
But that, well, for a start, my lady is quite nice and quite, prim and proper, and the complete opposite of what you would think I would attract.
Yeah,
if you
fair.
If you were that way thinking, right?
Yeah.
But irrespective of that, women are not innately attracted to morality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Women are not innately attracted to like honor and justice and virtue. None of those things are like innately attractive to a woman. They don't, like, on the surface of them, like, you can be those things.
Yeah, sure.
But there's other things about you that she's actually attracted to.
Okay.
Now, here's the kicker to that, right?
Right.
Those things that, like, let's say morality and justice and virtue and honor, right? What that does, though, is it gives you status amongst other men.
Yeah,
Yeah.
facts. Yeah,
Because
yeah,
other men respect those things, right? If we have honor amongst brothers, you will. This is exactly what happened to your friend. You just said, right?
Yeah.
You will sort him into your hierarchy and kind of put him on a pedestal a bit.
Yeah.
And then women observe that
Wow.
as a third party observer and see, oh, he has status amongst men, therefore he
I
is
respect him
attractive.
too. Yeah,
That's
So
a
if they
great way to
respect
put
him,
it.
I respect him.
Yes. So
Yeah,
it's
wow.
not there's nothing innately attractive about like two women
Yeah.
about morality and honor.
Yeah.
It's just by the virtue of the fact that men put those men on a pedestal.
Wow,
Yeah.
crazy.
And now
That's a good way to say
this kind of ties into like the decline of like Western society because we don't build statues to like dudes who did great things anymore,
Yeah.
right? We don't put those people on a pedestal anymore. Who do we put on a pedestal? Like rappers,
Yeah.
gangsters, right?
Very true.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow,
Right?
Yes.
So if men amongst themselves, amongst their society, are not putting honorable men on a pedestal, well, then those men are going to have less like options,
Yeah.
and less status, and then less options for women.
So true.
That's
Bloody
crazy.
hell, yeah.
It's
What-
nicely put though. That's
Yeah.
makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think men need to sleep around and get it out of their system, or do you think that's like a lack of self-control?
That's a good question. So there's two questions there that I'm going to answer. So the first one is, do they need to like sleep around with a bunch of women? I think it takes different guys a different level of experience to like get it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like some guys will get it on their foot with their first girlfriend, maybe because their dad teaches them about women, or they've got a good group of friends, or I don't know. There's some external factor that makes them like just understand women on a fundamental level much faster. It took me a lot.
Really?
It took me a few digits.
Oh,
like,
me too.
To like, oh, now I get it. Like, and the other guys, they do it in like a couple of girlfriends, 5 girlfriends, 10 girlfriends. I think with every guy, it takes a different level for them to actually get to a point where they fundamentally understand female nature and then cannot be manipulated by it.
Wow. Okay.
Which is good for the woman because she's with a guy who understands her and can lead her.
Do you think that we need to figure that out or learn it through our fathers or mothers? Because I grew up around 7 women. I feel like I understand women because of that.
Right.
So to me, that's why I feel like I understand the woman brain quite a fair bit. Maybe because I grew up a little bit feminine as well when I was younger. Or do you think that's something that needs to be learnt from my fathers?
Well, or you could another way that you could have turned out was you could have been like in the longhouse your whole life. You could have been, subject to like female manipulation without a strong male role model, and
Right.
been completely clueless. So you could have turned out a completely different way.
I agree.
Right? So I think you got to learn this stuff from other men.
Yeah,
that makes
you
the
know?
most sense. Doesn't
Yeah.
it?
To be fair, that's probably right because the more I was around other men, then I just understood maybe some traits I had wasn't quite right.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense
yeah.
because I started comparing like, why did I feel like this? Like they're not reacting to it like this, and you just start comparing, being open to it. So that makes perfect
Now,
sense.
this other thing you said there, like this idea that like guys who sleep around a lot lack self-control or lack discipline or lack willpower. This is an argument that I find is absolutely batshit crazy, and it's hilarious because it doesn't take willpower to do nothing.
Yeah.
Bear with me for a second, right?
Yeah.
To not get laid, you do nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the easiest thing in the world for a man to not have sex.
Yeah.
You just don't do anything.
It's
That doesn't
difficult for
require
men.
willpower. That doesn't require any self-control or anything, right? But to actually seduce a woman, you have to go do things.
Yeah.
Got a graft.
It takes willpower. It
Yeah.
takes
Right.
discipline to actually seduce a woman.
And I take it that's because you have to get yourself to a certain level of status.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you have to build up your charisma, if you go out of your comfort zone, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But like the idea that blokes who sleep around a lot, they sleep around because they don't have willpower, is completely nonsensical.
Wow. Okay.
Like if a dude who slept around a lot didn't want to get laid, he would just do nothing.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, great way of looking at it.
So
Like women aren't jumping at, like even you guys when you're out at a club, like
No, they do.
but you still have to do something.
Yeah, of course,
Like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
have to
yeah.
turn up.
I'm
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
joking.
You have
You're
to,
completely
you have
right.
to create an aura between your
I
bros.
completely
Yeah, so
agree.
true.
You still
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to
yeah.
do something.
I agree.
And that too, that's actually crazy because when we going back a little bit earlier to when you said about a guy can have loads of money and have no aura and have no status still, right? We found it many times, and we've said it many times that like even if we're in a club or we're at a bar or whatever, where us boys have so much fun amongst ourselves, it naturally brings women
Attracts.
towards
Correct.
us. And like I've had girls say to me and say to the boys like, "You boys seem like so much fun." We've stood over there, and girls have said, "What are you boys laughing at? Like, what are you got?" And we're like, "Just taking the piss out of each other, taking the piss out of everyone else." Like, they naturally want to then come over.
Gravitate
Like,
towards
they,
us,
they
yeah.
gravitate. And we've been out in tables. We won't say names, but we've been amongst footballers and people have got a lot of money, and you'd think a lot of status. And yet our table's flooded with women, and their tables aren't.
Well, it's also because everyone's paying attention to you,
Right.
which
okay.
is